निखिललोकक्षेमधाम नीलमेघश्यामा राम। शताभ सुमनसार्चिताङ्घ्रिशोभ कमलनाभ रविशताभ सुमनसार्चिताङ्घ्रिशोभ अमितविक्रम समर भीम शमल शमन सार्वभौम अमित विक्रम समर भीम शमन शमन सार्वभौम नीलमेघश्यामा निखिललोकक्षेमधाम नीलमेघश्यामा राम। शारदेन्दु सन्निभानन मारुति हृदयैक सदन शारदेन्दु सन्निभानन मारुति हृदयैक सदन धीरलक्ष्मी नारायण सूरिजनोद्धरण निपुण धीरलक्ष्मी नारायण सूरिजनोद्धरण निपुण नीलमेघश्यामा नीलमेघश्यामा निखिललोकक्षेमधाम नीलमेघश्यामा राम। पालिसोलिदु हनुम प्रेम पावनात्म सीताराम नीलमेघश्यामा निखिललोकक्षेमधाम नीलमेघश्यामा राम।
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः। देवाय तस्मै नमः, देवाय तस्मै नमः। Let us chant from verse number 9. कविं पुराणमनुशासितारम् अणोरणीयांसमनुस्मरेद्यः सर्वस्य धातारमचिन्त्यरूपम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् प्रयाणकाले मनसाचलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणमावेश्य सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यं यदक्षरं वेदविदो वदन्ति। यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं संग्रहेण प्रवक्ष्ये। सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्न्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणम्। ओमित्येकाक्षरं ब्रह्म व्याहरन् मामनुस्मरन् त्यजन् देहं स याति परमां गतिम्। अनन्यचेता सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः। मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतं नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः। So after having explained in detail how to live our life intelligently and what is intelligent living, whatever we do, let us always remember God. This always remembering God is important because only then a samskara is created in the mind, and only with this samskara we can ensure that at the time of death we will be able to remember God. So then what is said here at the last moment, at the time of death? Now we are talking of a highly evolved seeker. We are not talking of some beginner. We are talking of a person who has lived the life intelligently. The one who has abhyasa bala, the strength of practice. Such a person we are talking of here. So what is he supposed to do at the time of death? Sarvadvarani sanyamya manohridi niruddhya, blocking all the dwaras, the holes, which is nothing but the indriyas, the sense organs. Mano hridi niruddhyacha, fixing the mind unto the heart. Murdhni adhaya atmanaf pranam, fixing the prana, all your energies, at the center of your eyebrow. Asthito yoga dharanam, firmly seated in yoga, established in yoga. Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharan, chanting this one syllable Omkara. Mam anusmaran, chanting and remembering me. Yaha prayati, the one who lives. Tyajan deham, dropping the body. Sayati paramam gatim, such a person attains the highest. So yesterday we had seen, so in all these things it appears as though all these things are to be done. As far as seeker is concerned, who has well established in Abhyasa Yoga, he will find that most of these things happen when the mind is fixed upon the Lord. So we don't have to worry about fixing the prana at the center of the eyebrow, etc. Our attention is not upon all these non-essentials. Let us understand what is the essential thing and what are the non-essentials. So what is the essential thing? So therefore immediately after giving verse number 12 and 13, Bhagavan immediately takes up verse number 14. What does Bhagavan emphasize in verse number 14? Ananya cheta satatam yomam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabhaha. So what is the sadhana emphasized in verse number 14? The sadhana emphasized is constant, continuous remembrance of God. This verse is taken up immediately after the other one, only to indicate that Arjuna, may you not get confused with what has to be done. Otherwise you are confused what to do, whether to fix the mind in the heart or to take the prana to the center of the eyebrow. When so many things have to be done, ultimately the person is so confused, nothing happens. So here the emphasis is upon fixing the mind upon the Lord. So yesterday we had seen that once that is taken care, the rest everything follows. All these bodily functions automatically follows. We don't have to pay attention to all those things. That is not important. The most important thing is remembering the Lord. Bhagavan, what will happen if I remember you? So then verse number 15 says, what is said here? Arjuna, such a person, such a Mahatma, when he attains me, dukkhalayam ashashvatam punarjanma na apnuvanti. Such a person who reaches me, what is the greatest benefit, advantage? He doesn't come back to this world. What kind of world is this? Punarjanma. What is Punarjanma? See the definition of Punarjanma. See the adjectives given to Punarjanma. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Taking birth in this body, taking birth in this world is nothing but, this world is nothing but dukkha alayam. Not only this world, but this body is also dukkha alayam only. Dukkha alayam means what? An abode of sorrow. What is this body? An abode of sorrow. Should I explain to you how it is? Especially when you grow old, you become more and more aware of how terrible this body is. Buddha, when he became old, he said, old age, I spit on you. Such is the misery which this body gives. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha doshanudarshanam. one of the qualification of a spiritual seeker is he becomes very sensitive to everything. Sensitive. Birth is painful. Death is painful. Old age is painful. Disease is painful. And how many varieties of pains. In this body itself there are so many small parts. Every part can create some problem for you. Hardly you will find a person who is 100% healthy. Some or the other part is always not functioning. Some or the other part is always creating trouble. Either there is headache, or toothache, or stomachache, or joint pain, something or the other. Sugar, pressure. No body can be perfectly healthy. So definitely is dukkhalayam only, isn't it? But one of the great solace is, this is not the place where we have to settle. So normally they say, this place, we are out of exile, as they say. We are in exile. This is not our homeland. We have not come here to settle. In Kannada they say, what is that? Allide namma mane, illige summane. Very true. This is not the place. So we are all in exile. We are not in a place which is our homeland. Our homeland is not this. We are all travelers. Traveling from one body to another, traveling from one world to another, traveling from one experience to another. This world is full of misery. So if you are miserable in this world, you are normal. If you say, no, this world is a beautiful place, then you are abnormal. But if you say, no, holding on to God, yes, this world is a beautiful place. Agreed. Again, you are normal. Without God, if you are happy in this world, you are abnormal. You are a mad fellow. What is the definition of madness? The one who is happy in this world without holding on to God, that is madness. It is far better to be miserable in this world than to be happy in this world without God. Because that misery will take you to God. The misery will make you a mumukshu, a seeker of liberation. Dukkhalayam. Early morning itself starts. How much of time has to be spent on this body just to maintain it? Cleaning the body is painful, feeding it is painful, clothing it, bathing. Oh my God. The more and more you become sensitive to all this, the more and more you see pain in all this, the more and more you become sensitive, and more you start hating to come back to this world. Now tell me, who is defining this world as dukkhalayam ashashvatam? Not some Tom, Dick and Harry. Sakshat Bhagavan is telling this. Who is Bhagavan? The creator of the world. The manufacturer of the world himself is telling the defects of his product. Just imagine. Bhagavan himself is telling Arjuna, don't come back to this world again. Don't come back. This world is not for coming back again. It is full of misery only, suffering only. Physical suffering we can understand. What about the mental suffering? How many people are rotting in anger, greed, jealousy, revenge, hatred? If you see the newspaper, it is only this. How many people? Mental agony is unseen. But it is there. Everybody is mentally sick. When that sickness goes beyond a limit, we put them into some mental hospital. But otherwise everybody is sick only. Everybody is sick. If you want to know how much sick you are, close your eyes and meditate for 5 minutes. Try to control your mind. You will know how much sick the mind is, how unhealthy the mind is. Little bit of meditation is always useful to know how sick we are. And that is why this world is not meant for the healthy and for the perfect. This world is meant for the sick. This world is a hospital. Who come to a hospital? Healthy people or unhealthy people? Only unhealthy people. Remember, healthy people, they are enlightened, realize God, and they have gone. They are not going to come back. Then who comes back again and again? People who are not yet, those who have not yet regained their health, isn't it? So what is the disease we are all suffering from? Kama, Krodha, Raga, Dvesha, Ahankara, Mamakara. These are all the disease which we are suffering from. So what is the responsibility of a person who is in the hospital? What is his primary responsibility? To remain in the hospital or to get out of it as early as possible? So what should a patient in the hospital do? The primary responsibility is listen to the doctor. Strictly follow his instructions. He is not in the hospital to find out how many other patients are there. What all are the kinds of disease which others are suffering from. Let me make friendship with other patients also. Let me extend my stay in the hospital. That is not the purpose of going to hospital, isn't it? Strictly follow the prescriptions of the doctor. Get well, get out. Get well and get out should be the first priority, isn't it? This is exactly what Bhagavan is telling here. Arjuna, don't come back. This is not the place for the healthy people. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This is an abode of sorrow because nothing is permanent here. Everything is constantly perishing. Therefore, you can't get attached to anything of this world. There is only one thing which is permanent, but that doesn't belong to the world. What is that permanent thing? The observer in you, the consciousness in you, the Atma in you. So the one person who has known this reality, what is his name? Mahatmanaha. Mahatmanaha. Who is a Mahatma? The one who has known his Atma to be Mahan is called Mahatma. The one who has known himself, the one who has known his true self to be infinite, immortal, pure consciousness, existence, consciousness, bliss, the one who has known his true self, such a person we call him Mahatma. Everybody has Atma, but who becomes a Mahatma? The one who knows his Atma becomes Mahatma. What happens to him? Paramam samsiddhim gataha mahatmanaha. Such a person who has attained the supreme perfection. So what is attaining supreme perfection? Knowing oneself is the way to attain supreme perfection. So the message of Vedas, Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, the message is only one: know thyself. You don't belong to this material world at all. The body, mind, intellect, they belong to material world. You don't belong to that. Your nature is consciousness. The one who has realized this, what happens to him? Mam upetya, attaining me. Bhagavan is telling, attaining me. Attaining me means what? He has attained Atma. That Atma is me. So therefore, attaining oneself is attaining me alone. Why? That self in all beings is me alone. So there is a Mahavakya hidden there. Knowing oneself is knowing God, because God is none other than one's own self. So then what happens to him? Punarjanma na apnoti. Such a person doesn't come back. Arjuna, not only that, the jivas who don't realize this, not only that they come back, even the worlds, not only that the physical body is impermanent, even the worlds are impermanent. Now a new topic begins. Let us chant verse number 16. Abrahma bhuvana lokaha punaravartinorjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Abrahma bhuvana lokaha punaravartinorjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. Brahma bhuvanat lokaha punaravartinaha. Arjuna, I said everything in this world is perishable, isn't it? Not only this physical body is perishable, even the worlds are perishable. All the worlds, Brahma bhuvanat loka. All the worlds up to Brahma loka, they are perishable only. So how can you continue to remain imperishable in a perishable world, trying to stay permanently in a perishable home? Is it possible? Not possible. Arjuna, not only this body will go, even the worlds will go. Now here a new topic is taken up. Now what are the different worlds? So lot of information I will give you in this class. These informations are not present in Bhagavad Gita, they are present in various other Puranas. So what are the different worlds mentioned in the scriptures? So there are totally 14 worlds. What are the 14 worlds? Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. That the last Satyaloka is called Brahmaloka, another name. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. How many? They are the higher worlds. And what are the lower worlds? Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. AVST MRP. Short form. Right? Anyway, so totally how many worlds? 14 worlds. Now which is the highest world? Highest world is Satyaloka, or what is called as Brahmaloka, where Brahmaji stays. Now what is Bhagavan saying? Arjuna, every world is perishable, not only this Bhuloka. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, that Bhuhu is this world, the center one. Arjuna, not only that your physical body is something which has to perish, even this world has to perish. Not only this world, all the worlds up to Brahmaloka, it is only perishable in nature. Nothing is permanent. So therefore, if the world itself is perishable, what about the person going there? How can he be imperishable? The house itself has to be demolished. How can the resident in the house remain permanent? Impossible. You can't permanently reside in an impermanent house. Now, why all this discussion? All this discussion is to create some vairagya. Put an end to this punarjanma. It's only suffering. That is the whole goal. Okay. Abrahma bhuvanallokaha punaravartino Arjuna. Mam upetya tu kaunteya. But Arjuna, but suppose you reach me. Instead of going to different worlds, etc., if you reach me, punarjanmana vidyate. There is no punarjanma at all. So therefore, strive for that. An intelligent person is the one who will strive for this one thing, to escape from repeated cycles of birth and death. Now Arjuna asks a question, Bhagavan, may I know? Out of my curiosity I am asking. Yes, Arjuna, ask whatever you want, ask. Bhagavan, I want to know, what happens to these beings who don't reach you? Those people, what happens to them, those who don't strive for it? Because in this world, majority of the people we find, they are not striving for God realization. What happens to them? I would like to know. Okay, Arjuna, listen. Now it's a totally different topic. Okay, verse number 17. Sahasrayuga paryantam aharyat brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vido janaha Sahasrayuga paryantam aharyat brahmano viduhu ratrim yuga sahasrantam teho ratra vido janaha. Yes. Ahoratra vido janaha viduhu. Those great Rishimunis, who are they? The knowers of time. They have thoroughly understood what is time. Those knowers of time, the great Rishimunis, they viduhu, they know. What do they know? Brahmanaha ahaha sahasra yuga paryantam. The daytime of Brahma. Who is this Brahma? Not Brahman, but Brahmaji. Who is Brahmaji? Brahma Vishnu Maheshwara Brahmaji. The one who is the creator of the universe. Don't get confused with Brahman. What is the nature of Brahman? Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Not that Brahman. Here we are talking of Brahmaji. Brahma Vishnu Maheshwara Brahmaji. So what is the role of Brahmaji? He is the one who creates the whole universe. Vishnu is the one who sustains the whole universe. Srishti, Sthiti, and Shiva is the one who destroys. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. So the creator, the Prajapati, Brahmaji. Brahmanaha yat ahaha. Aha means daytime. What is his daytime? Sahasra yuga paryantam. His daytime is 1000 yugas. Ratrim yuga sahasrantam. What about his night time? Another 1000 yugas. This, who knows? Not everybody, but very rare few, the great Rishimunis who are the knowers of time. So now, let us for some time digress from this topic. Let us take some reference from the Puranas. So, in our scriptures, there are some wonderful information given as to how they used to measure time. This information, especially in Srimad Bhagavatam, you will find the mention of how our ancient Rishimunis, they defined time. They measured time. So I will give you some interesting information. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto. So, what is the basic unit of time measurement, the minimum, what you call, time span. How did they calculate? So first of all, they defined what is called as Paramanu. What is Paramanu? Paramanu is the smallest entity which is indivisible, which has not yet, what you call, combined with any other entity. The smallest entity, the smallest non-divisible entity is called as Paramanu. Now, the time taken for the sun's rays to sweep across one Paramanu is called Paramanu Kala. This is the shortest measurement of time. I hope you understood. So when the sun goes, what is sun doing? The rays sweep across the earth. As the rays sweep, so it is going. So the time taken for the sun's rays to sweep across one Paramanu is called Paramanu Kala. This is the shortest measurement of time. Now, combination of two Paramanus, it becomes an Anu. Combination of three Paramanus becomes Trasarenu. Time taken for sun to cover three Trasarenus is called Truti. 100 Truti is called one Veda. 3 Vedas make one Lava. 3 Lavas make one Nimisha. 3 Nimishas make one Kshana. 5 Kshanas make one Kashtha. 15 Kashthas make one Laghu. 15 Laghus make one Nadika. 2 Nadikas make one Muhurta. 6 to 7 Nadikas make one Prahara or Yama. 8 Yamas make one day. This much I think that last one you must be knowing. 1 Yama is how many hours? Roughly 3 hours. So 8 Yamas become 1 day, that is 24 hours. And then 15 such days become one Paksha. This also you must be knowing. So how many Pakshas are there? 2. What are they? Krishna Paksha, Shukla Paksha. 2 fortnights. One is dark fortnight, the other is bright fortnight. 2 months become one Ritu. That also you must be knowing. 6 months becomes one Ayana. So how many Ayanas in a year? Uttarayana and Dakshinayana. Yes. But see the beauty of how they define time. Such a wonderful way of defining. The time taken for the sun rays to sweep across one Paramanu. Beautiful. How they are measuring it and all, we don't know. Anyway, from now onwards, an interesting, information is given. So what is it? So assuming, 1 year is equal to 365 days. Now what is this Sahasra Yuga? So here it is said Brahmaji's 1 day, daytime is 1000 yugas. Now please understand what we are talking of here is not Yuga but Mahayuga or Chatur Yuga. That has to be added here. Though it is said Sahasra Yuga, it has to be understood Sahasra Chatur Yuga. Now what is this Chatur Yuga? The 4 yugas together, they become Chatur Yuga. What are the 4 yugas? Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. 4 yugas. Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. What is going on? Kali Yuga is going on now. They say 5,000 years are over. Anyway, Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. Dwapara Yuga is twice Kali Yuga. Treta Yuga is 3 times Kali Yuga. and Satyuga is 4 times Kali Yuga. So Satya plus Treta plus Dwapara plus Kali, total we call it a Chaturyuga or Mahayuga. And how much it is? It is 10 times Kali, so it will be 43,20,000 years. This is one Chaturyuga. 1,000 such Chaturyuga is called one Kalpa. One Kalpa equal to 1,000 Chaturyugas. Don't try to calculate now. Right. Now what is Brahmaji's daytime? Brahmaji's daytime is 1,000 Chaturyuga. This 1,000 Chaturyuga is sometimes called as Parardha. So his day is 1,000 Chaturyuga, his night is also 1,000 Chaturyuga. So totally one full day of Brahmaji is how many Chaturyuga? 2,000. Daytime 1,000, nighttime 1,000. So 2,000 Chaturyuga is one day of Brahmaji. And this way he has 365 days. That becomes 1 year. And Brahmaji's lifespan is 100 years. So if you calculate how many days Brahmaji lives, how many human years, so the calculation will be 3 crore years. How many years? 3 crore years. That is the lifespan of Brahmaji. Now, suppose that Brahmaji has a clock. If you measure our existence in his clock, we will be existing for 1 millisecond. Not even the existence of a mosquito. 1 millisecond we are finished. Assuming this human existence is 100 years. Assuming we live for 100 years, our existence in his clock is 1 millisecond. Right? Now, what is being said here? His one day is 1,000 Chaturyuga. His one night is 1,000 Chaturyuga. So that is why in the puja, etc., if you find, now the present Brahmaji, his 51st year is in progress. 51st year. 51st year, first day is in progress. How do you know? We don't know. The Mahatmas say. And in this daytime, 1,000 Chaturyuga, 14 Manus come and go. 14 Manus. Manu, they are the people who take care of the law and order of the whole universe. 14 Manus. So who is the Manu at present? During puja, etc., you must be saying, what is it? Vaivasvata Manvantare, we say. So Vaivasvata Manu is the one who is handling the whole affair now. Right? So which Kalpa at present is going on? Kalpa is 1,000 Chaturyuga. What is the name of the Kalpa? Shweta Varaha Kalpe. So that is the Kalpa which is going on. And which Yuga is going on now? Kali Yuga. Kali Yuge Prathame Pade. So in that Prathama Pada is going on. Just 5,000 years over. What is the span of Kali Yuga? 4,32,000 years. So these are some information. All these informations are present in Srimad Bhagavatam. So now, coming back to this point. Now, one more thing has to be, one more thing I should tell you. There are 4 types of pralayas. Because now the discussion is about pralaya. What are the pralaya? Number 1, it is called as Nitya Pralaya. When we go to sleep, that going to sleep is called pralaya. Why it is called pralaya? Because as far as the individual is concerned, the whole world is gone. It is dissolved. So that is called as Nitya Pralaya. The world is gone when we sleep. The second one is called Naimittika Pralaya. What is Naimittika Pralaya? After 1000 Chaturyuga, now Brahmaji is also tired because he is also Jivatma. So Brahmaji has to take rest. Especially such karmas we all do, so Brahmaji definitely needs rest. So he is a very interesting person. 12 hours work, 12 hours rest. His daytime and night time, they are equal. 1000 Chaturyuga is his daytime, 1000 Chaturyuga is his night time. He sleeps for almost 12 hours. Anyway. So now, when Brahmaji goes to sleep, that becomes another pralaya. The whole world dissolves. This pralaya is called Naimittika Pralaya. When Brahmaji goes to sleep, when the Creator goes to sleep, the creation also has to go to sleep. It is called as Naimittika Pralaya. Then again he gets up, and again the whole thing comes. So that day-to-day pralaya of Brahmaji is called Naimittika Pralaya. And the third one is called Prakrita Pralaya. What is Prakrita Pralaya? When Brahmaji's lifespan is over, he has to die. So when he dies, there is one more Pralaya. That Pralaya is called Prakrita Pralaya. That comes after 100 years of Brahmaji. Prakrita Pralaya. This is the fourth one, third one. And the fourth one is called Atyantika Pralaya. Atyantika Pralaya is when the individual realizes his self. When he comes to know his own self. That is called as Atyantika. Atyantika means ultimate Pralaya. Why it is called ultimate? Because once he knows his own self, he comes to know the whole creation is an illusion. Finished. So that is a final Pralaya. So once you gain this knowledge, Atyantika Pralaya. So what are the four pralayas? The first one, Nitya Pralaya. Second one, Naimittika Pralaya. Third one, Prakrita Pralaya. Fourth one, Atyantika Pralaya. Now, what is going to be discussed is Naimittika Pralaya. So Brahmaji's daytime is 1000 Chaturyuga, night time is 1000 Chaturyuga. Then what happens? Now, see the next one, verse number 18 and 19. Avyaktadvyaktayas sarvaha prabhavantyah ragame ratriyagame praliyante Tatraivavyakta Sanjnake Avyaktadvyaktayas sarvaha prabhavantyah ragame ratriyagame praliyante tatraivavyakta sanjnake bhutagramassa evayam Bhutva bhutva praliyate Ratriyagame vashah partha Prabhavatyah ragame Bhutagramassa evayam Bhutva bhutva praliyate Ratriyagame vashah partha. Yes. So what is being said here? So here the description is about Naimittika Pralaya. So what happens after 1000 Chaturyuga? Brahmaji goes to sleep and the whole creation also dissolves. Now we have to understand one thing. Just like we have our body cycle. What is our body cycle? We get up early in the morning, then we do our activities and then again go back to sleep. In the same way, the creation also has its body cycle. So what are the three bodies we have? Those who have studied Tattvabodha, they will know we have gross body, subtle body and causal body. Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira and Karana Sharira. Three types of bodies we have. What is this Sthula Sharira? This physical body which we see, this is called as Sthula Sharira. Sthula Sharira or gross body. If you want more details, please refer Tattvabodha. Yes, that is the basic text to learn all Vedantic terminologies. Okay, so this physical body is called gross body or Sthula Sharira. Then we have Sukshma Sharira, what is called as subtle body, S-U-B-T-L-E, subtle body. What is this subtle body? It is nothing but, very simple definition we'll give, it is nothing but mind intellect, our thoughts. Our thoughts. So as far as the gross body is concerned, we see each other's gross body. But as far as the subtle body is concerned, I know my subtle body, but I will not be able to know somebody else. I know my mind, I cannot know somebody else's mind. Sukshma Sharira of mine I can see, but I can't see the Sukshma Sharira of another person. Now there is another one which is called Karana Sharira, causal body, causal, C-A-U-S-A-L. Not casual body, causal, that which is the cause of other two bodies. Causal body or Karana Sharira. It is the body which even I don't know about myself. It can be defined as the latent impressions or vasanas which are unmanifest, avyakta, unmanifest. And therefore, even I don't know that it is there in me. For example, suppose I am addicted to ice cream, let us say. I am addicted to ice cream. I don't know that. The moment the ice cream comes, there is an ice cream vendor. So suddenly what happens? From this vasana, which is latent, which was till then unmanifest, the thought emerges. What is the thought? Let me have that ice cream. From where did this thought come from? It came from my unmanifest personality, which was till then not known, and then this desire came. So the desires first manifest as thoughts. Earlier this thought also was not there. It was in the unmanifest state. This unmanifest state is what is called as Karana Sharira. So from the Karana Sharira, the thought comes. What is this thought? It is Sukshma Sharira. It has come into Sukshma Sharira. Now once I have the desire to eat ice cream, what will I do? I will physically go there, pay the money, eat the ice cream, isn't it? So the gross body start expressing the desires of the subtle body. And where did this desire in the subtle body come from? It has come from the causal body. So at the causal state I am not aware. In the subtle state I am aware, but others are not aware. In the gross state, everybody is aware. When I go and buy ice cream, people know, this fellow loves ice cream. Isn't it? So just like in the individual we have three states, causal, subtle and gross. In the same way, in Prapancha also these three states are there. Okay, before that, in the waking state, which are the bodies which are active? The physical body is active, the gross body is active, the subtle body is active, and also the causal body is active in the waking state. But predominantly, the physical body is active. In the dream state, which body is active? Physical body is not active, it is lying down. In the dream state, subtle body is active, subtle and causal. And in deep sleep state, even the mind is not active. The only body which is present in the deep sleep state is causal body, Karana Sharira. As a seed form, we exist. All those desires are there even when we are sleeping, but all those desires, tendencies, vasanas, they are all in a seed form, unmanifest form. This unmanifest form is called avyakta. All these descriptions were given to describe that term avyakta. Avyakta means what? Unmanifest. So, what we experience in deep sleep is that state of avyakta, unmanifest. Everything is there in me, but it's in a seed form. It is in an unmanifest form. Why do I call unmanifest? Because I myself don't know. It is not available for perception. If it is there in the form of thought, I will know. But not even as thought, it is available. Right? So just like what is happening in the individual, there is a waking state, dream state and deep sleep state. In the same way, in Srishti also, there are 3 bodies. So when we say Sthula Prapancha, totality. So just like in the Vyashti we have 3 bodies, in the Samashti also there are 3 bodies. So the 3 terms we can use is, one is Sthula Prapancha, the physical world which we are seeing. The second is Sukshma Prapancha. Prapancha means the universe, the cosmos. Sukshma Prapancha means the totality of mind, intellect, of everyone put together. And the third one is called Karana Prapancha, everything in the seed form. So this creation goes through the cycle. What is the cycle? Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. So this Laya is called Pralaya. So Srishti, all those whatever is there in the creation comes into expression. That is called as Srishti. Then Sthiti, it remains. So what are we seeing now? Srishti, Sthiti or Laya? We are seeing Srishti also, we are seeing Sthiti also. The maintenance of this creation is called Sthiti. So Srishti, Sthiti is what we are all seeing. So what happens at the time of Pralaya? All this creation, they go back to avyakta state, unmanifest state. In Pralaya, everything dissolves. They go back to their latent state, seed state, unmanifest state. So this goes on and on and on. Now that is what is being described. So what does Bhagavan say? Sarvaha vyaktayaha aharagame avyaktat prabhavanti. Sarvaha vyaktayaha, whatever is manifest, prabhavanti, they come. From where they come? Aharagame, during the daytime. Daytime of whose? Whose daytime? Not our daytime. Brahmaji's daytime. So now Brahmaji is getting up. After 1000 Chaturyuga of good sleep, now he is getting up. So when he gets up, the whole creation also as though wakes up. So till then the creation was in the Karana state, the unmanifest state. It was in the Pralaya state. From Pralaya, Srishti is coming. So when Srishti comes, what happens? Sarvaha, all beings, animate, inanimate, moving, non-moving, all beings also are created along with Brahmaji's getting up. Sarvaha avyaktat prabhavanti. They come out from avyakta. Avyakta means what? Unmanifest state. From that Pralaya state. In Pralaya state, now to experience avyakta, just take your own personal experience. In the deep sleep, what do you experience? I experience a state of nothingness, isn't it? That is avyakta. The whole cosmos also goes through that state, that unmanifest state. So when Brahmaji gets up, the whole creation also wakes up. There is Srishti. And Ratriagame, when Brahmaji sleeps, what happens? Avyakta sanjnake eva praliyante. All these creation also, they go back to that unmanifest state. So what is happening? From the unmanifest, the whole creation comes and they become manifest. And finally, these manifest things and beings, they go back and merge into unmanifest. This is what happens in the whole cosmos. Bhagavan, why are you telling all this? I am not interested. No. I am telling all this to make a very solid point. What is the point? Partha, sa eva ayam bhutagramaha. Saeva ayam bhutagram. All these beings, don't think they are new. They are the very same old things. When creation comes, don't think that something new is created. No, the very same old is created new. Old wine in the same bottle. It's the same thing. It is exactly like when you get up early morning after good sleep. Are you a new person or the same old person? Nobody gets up as a new person. It is the same fellow with all bundles of desires and addictions and imperfection. The very same fellow gets up, isn't it? In between there is a break. That's all. And that break is given by the compassionate Mother Nature, so that we will get some rest, because we are so workaholic, we will never take rest by ourselves. So helplessly, forcefully, Mother Nature forces us to sleep. Right? But after getting up, what do? We do the same thing which he had planned the previous day. We are not a different person, we are the same person. So in the same way, in this creation also, when Srishti Sthiti Laya happens, after Laya, when the Srishti comes, it is the same thing which is again emerging. Saeva ayam bhutagramaha. And now what is used? See, bhutva praliyate. Aharagame prabhavati, ratriagame praliyate. In the daytime they come, in the night time of Brahmaji they all dissolve. And what is the term used, you see? Avashaha bhutva praliyate. All these beings, are they independent in choosing their birth? No. Avashaha. Avashaha means what? Helplessly. These beings, helplessly they come out. Helplessly they originate. Helplessly they are created. How many times? Bhutva. Twice it is repeated. What do you mean bhutva? Again and again, again and again, again and again. Meaning what? This Punarjanma business is a non-ending business. It can go on and on and on for ad infinitum, as they say. Infinitely this game can go on and on and on. This Punarjanma thing, Arjuna, as long as you have not gained this knowledge, as long as you have not attained to my nature state, there is no end to this Punarjanma. Not only the body is recreated, even the whole creation, even the whole cosmos, it is also again and again recreated. It can go on and on. It is something like a merry-go-round. The only difference is in that when you sit there is merry. As far as in this Punarjanma is concerned, there is only misery. So we can say misery-go-round, not merry-go-round. So Arjuna, don't get into this game of Punarjanma. That's why one of the name of this world is Bhavasagara. Bhavasagara means what? Bhava means to become. It's an ocean of becoming. Everybody thinks, I am unhappy. Maybe if I become like him, I will be happy. Maybe if I get that, I will be happy. Everybody is thinking that somebody else is happy, and so therefore he is not happy with himself. He is trying to become somebody else. And now this is called as becoming bhava. It's called as bhava roga. It's a disease. The fact is, nobody is happy in this world. Nobody is happy. If at all anybody is happy, that is only that Mahatma who has known his own self. And those Mahatmas are always rare. Because once you become a Mahatma, you don't come back. So this world is called Bhavasagara. You can go on playing this game. You will become this or that. Whatever you desire at the time of death, that desire will be fulfilled in the next birth. And once that desire is fulfilled, this is not what I wanted. Because the desire is fulfilled, but the happiness is not there. Then suddenly you feel, oh, maybe I did not ask that way. Again you start desiring something else. Again thinking that desire, you die. Again, because that desire was the last thought, again you take birth to fulfill that desire in that particular environment. to such and such parents. Again you get it. See, one thing is, whatever you desire, you will get it. This is strict law. If not in this birth, maybe after thousands of births, you will get it. But the point is, even if you get it, you will be miserable. Any worldly desire you fulfill, you can never be perfectly happy. This is the law. So therefore, this game can go on and on and on. Just remember, or just think, the very fact that we are now in this world with this physical body, what does it mean? It means that we have been playing this game for the beginningless past. Can you just imagine how many births we must have already taken to reach here? Shankaracharya says, Ananta Koti, infinite crores of birth. Even that must be less, because infinite past must have more years. The very fact that even today we are not realized, what does it mean? We are constantly desiring something or the other than God. One thing is for sure, till now we have never desired God. What is the proof? The proof is we are still existing. So to create that kind of vairagya in the mind of Arjuna, Bhagavan is describing all this. Arjuna, how many births you have already lived? How many births you have already wasted? Bhutva, avashaha, praliyate. How many times you have died? How many deaths you have experienced? Do you want to continue this? Do you want to continue this miserable existence? Then continue. Don't read Bhagavad Gita. Don't come to Bhagavad Gita class also. Don't come anywhere near spirituality. But if you are fed up, then Arjuna, this is the path. Now see the next verse. Verse number 20. Parastasmatu bhavonyaha avyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati parastasmatu bhavonyaha avyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati avyaktoksara ityuktaha tamahuh paramangatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama avyaktoksara ityuktaha tamahuh paramangatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Yes, Arjuna, this avyakta, this creation, which is in the manifest. So the whole thing is going on and on and on in a cyclic fashion. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. So when the whole creation goes into that Laya, so that Srishti is called avyakta, unmanifest state. But Arjuna, there is another unmanifest state which is different from this unmanifest state. Tasmat avyaktat paraha anyaha avyaktaha bhavaha. There is another unmanifest which is different from this unmanifest. Bhagavan, what is that another unmanifest? Sanatanaha, which is eternal. And which is sarva bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. There is something in each and every individual which is also unmanifest. But how is it different? Vinashyatsu na vinashyati. Even when this physical body dies, there is something in everyone which doesn't die. Sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu. In this perishable entity, there is something which doesn't die. And that is that supreme state, that is Sanatana, eternal state, that is also unmanifest. That is also avyakta. So what do you mean unmanifest, avyakta? It is not manifest to the mind and the senses. It is not manifest to the mind and senses. Whom are we talking of? The consciousness. Consciousness cannot be known through the mind or through the senses. So therefore, that also can be called as avyakta. So other than this avyakta, there is another avyakta. Arjuna, it is very different. It is there in everyone. It is there in this perishing body, remaining as imperishable. It has got different names. What are the different names? Avyaktaha, aksharaha, ityuktaha, paramam gatim, ahuhu. There are different names like akshara, imperishable, avyakta, unmanifest. So those great people who know this truth, they call this as paramam gatim, the highest truth. Yam prapya na nivartante tat mama paramam dhama. Reaching where there is no comeback. That is my highest abode. That is me. So what is the essence of discussion? The essence of discussion is put an end to this Punarjanma business. There is no end to it. The creation will keep on coming, keep on going. But if you want to put an end to this misery, there is only one way. Hold on to me. I am right there in you. I am right there in you as imperishable consciousness. The only thing which is imperishable in you is this consciousness. That is me. So know your own true self as me. Once you know this, all your sufferings are over. The game is over. Till then the game is not over. It is only semicolon, not full stop. It will go on and on and on. And Arjuna, there is no other choice. Let it be very clear to you, there is no other choice. It is not optional. It is mandatory. The question is, are you fed up with this game? If you are not fed up, then do as you wish. But if you are fed up with this Punarjanma business, then come to me. Tomorrow, there is another topic. What is another topic? Bhagavan, those people who have not reached you, what all are the possibilities? Which all path they take up in their different existence? Now this topic is something which is never covered anywhere in Gita except 8th chapter. Now see, these are all the things you can't prove through your science. Bhagavan has said it, full stop. It must be true. These are all the things which you have to just have faith. Tomorrow another topic we will take up. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhaved Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyoti Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.